Hello everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Garage Groove. So last week I did not have a chance to do any work. We were out of town to Virginia. But we had mentioned that the upcoming project is the RM80, which it is. So we need to make some space for it. And what we want to do is we want to go and get this YamaZuki motorcycle out of the garage, because as far as we know, it is done. But we have to put an official stamp on it. We have to make sure that this bike runs fine, it steers fine, it stops fine, and everything else about it we will find when we actually put it to the test in the trails. But we have to do an official review on it, which means we're going to take it up the road. We're going to make sure everything works on it. It runs fine. It accelerates fine. Stops fine. Brakes fine. Everything. Then that's what we're going to do on this week's episode. And we are going to get prepped to start working on the RM and finish that project up for phase-on. So before I put it away, I want to take it for a test ride. And I want to take you right along with me. And then we'll talk about it. I think it should do very well now. The steering was a big issue on this bike, which made me feel very weird about it. In the trails, it felt actually pretty good. Do you remember when I said this bike, it feels long and awkward? It kind of did, but you know, in the trails, it did okay. I kind of take those words back. It felt very at home in the trails, and it feels like a natural woods bike. It really does. But the steering was a big issue, right? The swing arm cracked, so we fixed that, and we put a brand new tank on it to alleviate the steering issue. And the other thing I did was the petcock on the old tank was leaking, so putting the new tank on it consequently took care of that as well. So let's go take this for a ride, and then we'll talk about it. We'll see you in a minute. Okay, everybody, welcome back. So we just got back. We took the bike up the road and back. That's about all we can do today. It's not a very nice day, as you saw from the weather. It's all wet and cold. But it was enough for us to test this bike. It steers much better now. I was able to make nice turns right inside the road there. Before it was I could make the turns, but it was a very wide turn. Now it's very reasonable. I can maneuver the bike much better. We've gained some weight on the bike, as you know, from reinforcing that swing arm, but I didn't feel any difference on the torque. The bike's got just as much torque. The rear brakes are on point, man. I didn't even use the front brakes because I know they work good. I was just using back brakes, and it was slowing me down. The bike's got good pickup. It's got good acceleration. I think it's running a little bit rich, but we may be able to solve that by doing the air fuel mixture on the screw. We'll do all of that when the temperature changes and when we're ready to take it out in the trails. That's when we're going to really test this thing. I think the motor runs good. I think the bike pulls very nice. It handles good now. It still feels a little bit long, which it is, you know, but just kind of a lumbering type of a bike. But, you know, in the woods, it's just much more better. And it could be the tires, you know, on the street surface, these tires make it just handle a little bit different. And in the woods, it feels a lot better. And it's got to probably do something with, look how rancid these tires are, and you put these on a flat surface like a street and it's gonna feel different, you know. But I can assure you that in the woods, in the fields and all of that, the bike feels really good. So that's the cap on this bike until we take it out into the field. Okay, this is a wrap on this bike. We did a lot of work to this bike. I think it turned out nice. I think it is very usable now, and we're gonna run it again this year. And then once I take it to a few different runs and it holds up really nice and stuff, then we'll think about what we want to do with it, whether we want to keep it or sell it or whatnot. But we're gonna be moving on to the RM project. We're gonna be bringing that bike here. We're gonna be moving this one out so we can make space. So thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Garage Groove. Please, please, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. If you have any comments, any questions, always feel free to write them in the comments, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you soon. Take care.